Mic check 1, mic check 2. If you are watching this live stream back on the replay, take advantage of the chapters and skip ahead to the start of the show. I'm still setting up and giving people time to tune in. Oh, we got an awesome show for you guys tonight, guys. We got an awesome show. So let's go ahead and get this set up so we can get it going. Let's get the Social Stream Ninja chat launched. Okay, we got that. I'm gonna launch it again because it didn't look like it detected any stream. Please don't start this foolishness tonight. Boy, it's always something I'm trying to tell you. Oh, it still didn't say anything. All right, so let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope that when people send messages through the chat tonight that it shows up and we don't have no problems. All right, so I definitely can hear that. Now let's go ahead and share the stream on Facebook. I hope you guys had an awesome day today. I did. Some things are starting to settle down a little bit in the market, but Tuesdays are usually slow. At least in my experience, Tuesdays are pretty slow. So let's go here. We're going to Facebook, share the stream, and then we can start the show. All right, so here we go. And guys, last night was our 400th video. So we got that knocked out. And we got another subscriber last night. So thank you guys for joining the channel and joining the community. I appreciate you. All right, now we are live. There we go. Share now. Once that says that's good. So we got 2 minutes to showtime tonight, guys. 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. All right, we're good there on Facebook. Pull that back up. All right. All right, yeah, I'm ready to get the show going. We got some exciting things going on. I'm gonna leave that on there, but I don't even think that's gonna hit that anytime soon. Yeah, guys, hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. We will be starting in less than a minute. We're gonna start the show at 11. I try to get here like 5 minutes before showtime to give people some time to tune in and share the stream and check to see if everything is working like it's supposed to. Man, pulling these chats from different live streams is a headache. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. And it's just terrible because I don't want people to think I'm ignoring them. But sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Hopefully tonight it'll be one of those nights where it's working. Where is my mouse? Here we go. Chat. So we're good there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you. We are about to start. Yeah, guys. All right, it's 11. Let's go. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. All right, cool. Welcome to Market Recap Live. I'm your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God. Oh, thank God. It is Tuesday, guys. It is Tuesday. And tonight we are taking a look at ticker SMCI. You might know them better as Super Micro Computer. Super Micro Computer Incorporated was founded in 1993 by Charles Liang, with its first office opening in San Jose, California. Now they're publicly traded on the NASDAQ and have a market value over $20 billion. Yes, that's B, billion dollars. Supermicro is in the technology, hardware, storage, and peripherals industry in the information technology sector, and they are listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of Supermicro's competitors are Dell Technologies Incorporated, ticker DELL, Hewlett Packard Enterprise Company, ticker HPE, and NetApp Incorporated, ticker NTAP. We're going to review Supermicro's earnings, their website, and pull up the charts to perform a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, FB for Facebook, and an X for X. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. All right, let's get to it, guys. Let's get to these earnings. So we go here, bam, 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 bam. All right, guys, we good. We are good. Let's get it. Supermicro Computer Incorporated, ticker symbol SMCI, the $20.4 billion company reported its fourth quarter 2026 earnings on Tuesday, August 11th. They have a 52-week high of $58.78, which took place on October 9th, and a 52-week low of $19.48 that occurred on March 23rd, which is a trading range of $39.30. And they closed today at $31.60. Supermicro earnings report beat on the top line, reporting revenue of $11.1 billion, which was higher than the market expectations of $10.2 billion. And they beat on the bottom line as AI server rack demand and liquid cooling deployment accelerated. EPS was higher than the analysts and market expectations of 88 cents when they reported an adjusted EPS of $1.70. Supermicro reported a GAAP net income of $1.2 billion, which is higher than the $195 million net income they reported this same quarter last year. This represents an increase of 504.1%. So for the fourth fiscal quarter of 2025, their net profit was approximately 83.4% lower than it is compared to now a year later. The earnings were released after the market closed, followed by a 5 p.m. Eastern Time conference call. As far as guidance, management issued strong first quarter 2027 revenue guidance of 14.5 to 15.5 billion. That 52-week low compared to today's closing of $31.60 represents an increase of 62.22% over a span of approximately 5 months. So if someone invested $1,000 in March at that 52-week low of $19.48, they would be seeing a gain of $622.18. Woo! All right, guys, we did that. Let's move on. Let's move on. All right, researching a company. Let's talk about why we visit these company websites. We're looking at the visuals and the text to find answers to these key questions. What goods and or services does the company sell? How important are those goods and services to their customers? What makes this company stand out from the competition? And how well do they take care of their employees? Where we look, we search for those answers in 4 main areas: the homepage for the goods and or services, about us for purpose, vision, values, and mission statements, careers for employee benefits and opportunities, and investor relations for stock quotes, charts, and financial reports. And for your convenience, all companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description. Now, let's go to Supermicro's website. Let's go, guys. All right, here we go. Bam, bam, bam. All right, guys, we are here. We are there. We are at Supermicro's website. Guys, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. I believe everything we need is going to be at the bottom of the website, guys, because we've looked at Supermicro a few times. All right, so let's start browsing over the home page, and then we'll click those links at the bottom of the page. So Supermicro, all new Supermicro servers with AMD EPYC. All right. Let's keep going. Data center building block solutions. And I'm saying it like that, guys, because on their homepage, it's more so about their goods that they sell. They're just highlighting the things they sell for data centers and networking and storage racks and data racks and things like that. That's mostly what we're going to see on this homepage. Storage systems, different names of the different brands and things like that, like the branding, like we just saw with the TM, and it's a lot of stuff to read. So the links for this website are down in the description for your convenience. All right, so here's where we need to go, guys, to learn about the company. That's most of their goods. So right here, about us, we're going to go to company profile, investor relations, and careers, but let's go to company profile first. Put me back on the screen. Now, this is where we can learn about the company. All right. Super Micro is a global technology leader committed to delivering first to market innovation for AI, cloud storage, 5G, and 5G edge IT infrastructure. We are a rack scale total IT solutions provider that designs and builds an environmentally friendly, energy efficient range of servers, storage systems, and switches. First to market innovation, total solutions. We keep it green. US-based engineering and manufacturing. So here's the corporate overview, some stats about the company, founded and headquartered in the USA, global operations in over 100 companies. They talk about the revenue, ranked as one of among the Fortune 500 companies. And it's one of the reasons they're in S&P 500. But yeah, so that's that company milestone, some histories about the company, green computing. Here's the leadership, guys. All right, so we got that. And here's the founder that we talked about during the beginning of the live stream tonight. Now let's go to careers. So I'm clicking right here under about us. So now that we're at careers, put me back on the screen. Help drive the future of Super Micro. Accelerate your career. Super Micro is listed on the Fortune magazine's list of largest U.S. corporations and is on the Standard & Poor's. That's what I was talking about. They're listed in the S&P 500. So those are two different things, but they're listed in the S&P 500 index, which tracks 500 of the most valuable companies traded on the U.S. stock exchanges. What it means to work here, what our values are, what makes us unique. All right, world-class culture and benefits. So they do talk about the benefits here. We're going to click that after we finish browsing over the page. Accelerate diversity, Super Micro, America's jobs, EMEA jobs, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And we just looked that up yesterday and I almost drew a blank. You saw me about to stutter. Europe, Middle East, and Africa, EMEA. And APAC jobs, Asia, Pacific, and Oceania, green computing, event spotlight. Okay, so let's go to the benefits, guys, right here, world-class culture and benefits. And they're gonna show something about food. Yeah, we looked at this on, and then we can browse through it. But usually every time we come and look at this, you got something to do with that food. So explore benefits. So guys, that is the overview that they give about the benefits on their website. You can look at it right here, or you can use the links down in our description for you to look it up yourself. Explore our benefits. Your talent drives Super Micro's success and makes this a great place to work. We provide comprehensive benefits from day one for eligible employees, their dependents, and domestic partners. All right, so now we can go to investor relations. It's right here at the bottom, guys, right here. Bam. So let's go check that out. They took us to a different website. Put me back on the screen. Let's make sure we zoomed in. We are. So here's the stock information over to the right. But we're going to browse over this page and then we'll get the stock information and the charts and all of that. Total IT solutions for AI, cloud storage, HPC, and 5G edge. Corporate overview. Latest financial results, news, events, feature presentation, executive management, governance, and investor email alerts. All right, we got it. So we can go up here as well. Let's go to stock details. Guys, that's where we need to go. That's it right there. So we have our stock quote. Here's the chart and other tools that are available for investors on SMCI's website. All right, so let's go ahead and go here and talk about their clients and partners. Okay, clients and partners in the S&P 500 for Super Micro. So Super Micro does have clients and partners that are listed inside the S&P 500. Some notable names include NVIDIA Corporation, ticker NVDA, Advanced Micro Devices Incorporated, ticker AMD, and Broadcom Incorporated, ticker AVGO. Now, before we go any further, guys, let's talk about the mobile limitations. Before we look at the charts, remember, professionals trade from a computer, okay? Not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited and don't have all the features that are available on full trading platforms. Now, let's look at Supermicro on the charts. So let's go over there. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. All right, we got a few things going on on this chart, but we gonna break it down. Let's get this other mouse popped up. And I have some alerts showing. And let me see if I can take those off. Stores. I don't remember where that selection is right now. There it is. Extend order on the left. If I click that, click apply to remove it. There we go. No. Let's, guys, I want to remove this order off the screen. It says extend, but does it ask me to show the orders? I mean, the alerts. There it is right here where it says show alerts right here. I don't want to show those alerts right now. So do not show. And I do want it to extend all the way over to the left. So click OK. And that's how you do that. All right. So it's like, what is he doing? What's going on? I wanted to remove my alerts because I've been looking at SMCI and I traded them earlier in the year and I got smoked. But that's not what we're here for. If you want to learn more about it, you can ask me about it in the chat. But let's go ahead and go over what we need to go over. So we do have SMCI pulled up on the chart. We are looking at SMCI on a 1-year daily chart. Here's their 52-week high of $58.78. Here's their 52-week low of $19.48. And they closed today, which we talked about earlier, at $31.60. Now, let's go to a higher time frame. So now we are looking at SMCI on a 10-year weekly chart. And it does go back 10 years because there's 2016. They have a 10-year low, guys, of 85 cents. Crazy, okay? Crazy. And then they have a 10-year high of $122.90. And boy, did they go down, all the way down to $19 and some change. I don't remember what the number was, but we'll see it when we go back over here. I'll go over there real quick so we can get that number. 1948 from this high. Crazy. All right, they did a stock split in 2024. Based on where the price levels are right now, guys, I already have most of that done. So while we're on this higher time frame, let's get the 9-week simple moving average and the 200-week simple moving average. So the 9-week simple moving average is $29.14. So it's trading above that now. And we have a 200-week simple moving average that's at $37.93, and it's currently still trading below that simple moving average. Okay, so let's go down to the lower time frame. So now we're back on the 1-year daily chart, and we can start looking at these technicals. This was a trend line I was looking at earlier. We can remove that. And let's zoom in a little bit and focus on where we are right now. Let's switch mice. I'm just adjusting the chart, guys. Once we adjust it, we can focus on what's going on and what happened today. And let's talk about this part right here. So this is where I had got in trouble and smoked. So we'll talk about this and then we'll go over what's happening with the price action right now. So in the end of the year, like the mid-December last year to March 20th, SMCI was trading in its consolidation range, this gray area that I was looking at. Here are the price levels of that range. So the bottom of that range is $28.48. Top of that range is $33.74. All right. So when it was consolidating in that range, I'm expecting for it to either break to the upside or the downside. Okay, and you can see clearly as day that it broke to the downside. Let me put this back. It broke to the downside. Now, around that time, what was going on, or the news behind why this happened, was that it was some type of scandal of microchips being shipped outside the country that were not supposed to be shipped outside the country. And that was terrible news, and the company ended up losing, or the stock ended up losing like more than 30% overnight. So that's what that drop down was. And then after that, the stock ends up recovering over 150%. It was just, it was a nuisance, guys. It was tough on my soul because I did my due diligence. I'm believing in the company. I'm looking at what's going on, and I could not plan for that unexpected random event, only to be right on my initial thoughts about what was going on, about it actually going up. So from that low to the highest peak, guys, you can see that's over 150% return. So I got shook out because I over leveraged. I bought way too many shares thinking it was no way possible it could go down any further, and I was wrong. So that's what ended up happening there. And that's part of the reason why I told you the chart is so marked up, because I had actually been watching this company. So over here, I don't remember if we were actually looking at it or I was just looking at it, but we had a gap between July 21st and July 22nd. So that gap has been filled. So I'm gonna change the color of it to a lighter color. It's been filled, but we can see that on July 29th, that daily candle came down and tested the bottom of that gap and filled that gap in. And then it's been recovering, and it came back up to the 200-day simple moving average. So let me give you those moving averages right now. So the 9-day simple moving average is at $30.04, and the 200-day simple moving average is at $31.97. Okay. Now, with them announcing the earnings after market today, they have actually moved since then. So they closed at the 31.60, but they've started trading higher than that in the extended hour. So let's go over there and look at that. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to a 5-day minute chart. So that's where we are right now. Take these off because this is gonna be different. It's jumping around. I gotta figure out what's going on. We'll figure that out in 1 second. So double click this. Okay, so over here, you can see what type of chart we're looking at. I'm gonna highlight it. So we're looking at a 5-day minute chart, and I'm going to extend this. Let's pull this over. Hold up. What's going on? Let's get this right. Now, they knew they should have pulled this over when I double clicked that. But anyway, here we go. So here was today's price action. This is the regular trading hours in the black section. If you cannot see these extended hours, you go up to the settings, then you go over to where it says equities, and this box right here needs to be checked, where it says show extended hours trading session. If that box is not selected, guys, you're not going to see the gray area. What just happened? Okay, uncheck the box. That's what I want to do. Uncheck the box, click apply so you can see. It removes that gray area. So here is today, and now we can't see the extended hours. So we cut that back on, go back to settings, go to equities, check that box, click apply, and now we can see that gray area of extended hours. Okay, so here's what I wanted to point out to you. Guys, it tested that resistance zone that we had already had on the charts. It dipped into it right after the earnings were announced. It jumped up from the $31.12 resistance level. It was actually support, because when the market closed, it closed above that $31.12. So we saw that right here. It closed at $31.60. So it was above this as support, but it shot up and it tested that area of resistance that we already had on the chart at $34.94. And then it fell back down and found support on the 200-minute simple moving average, because now they're looking at it on the minute chart because it's in extended hours. It's not going to be day candles in the extended hours. So they're looking at a lower time frame there. And now it's trading around $34.18. So that's what's going on with the price action of SMCI today after the earnings were announced. And you can see our levels that we have on the charts for support and resistance, because like I said, we've covered it multiple times and I've been keeping an eye on it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the stock quote for SMCI, and we'll talk about the volume, and then we can move on. So let's go cut on the floating data box. Mouse over today's candle. Okay, so SMCI, guys, they opened today at $32.02. They had a high of $32.36. They had a low of $30.92, and they closed today at $31.60, which was a trading range of $1.44. When we look at the volume, crazy, guys. They traded 95.5 million shares of this stock today. Is that a big deal? Is it a little deal? We about to find out. So let's cut this floating data box off. take me off the screen and let's go over here, guys. So the average, I'm dragging the whole chart. We don't need to do that. Give me a second. Our average trading volume for SMCI in a daily trading session, guys, is 37.2 million. So they did about 3 times what they normally do. About 3 times. And on Monday, they were trading above average as well. So that was this candle right here. So that was Monday. Here's our Tuesday candle. And both of those days were trading above average. And we saw a huge spike today, the day of earnings. But keep in mind, the earnings were announced after the market closed. So we are likely to see, especially with if it gaps, a higher spike in volume tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more than this 95 million that they traded today. Tomorrow, we're going to see more than that volume come in. All right. So now let's talk about the volume percentile. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, guys, volumes compared to today's volume was higher than 96.8% of those trading volumes. To be exact, only 8 of those 252 trading days had a higher volume than today. All right, so we covered SMCI. We talked about, yes, we did the simple moving averages. So we can go ahead and move on. So let's go here, 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 here. Cool. Now, community support. Back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description as well as on the ticker on the screen. And it takes $10 to become the first sponsor of tonight's show. All right, now let's talk about the S&P 500 index. Let's look at what the S&P 500 index did today by using the SPY ETF. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the broader U.S. market by allowing them to own a percentage of each company inside the S&P 500 index. Let's go back to the charts. So here we go. Bam, 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 bam. And yesterday we didn't put that ticker up, but I remember it today. So let's go up here to our symbol box and type in SPY. There we go, guys. And I know it looked like we got a lot of stuff on this chart, and that's because we do. That's because we do, because we always looking at the SPY. So let's go ahead and go over to, let's get this out the way and then we'll look at the higher time frame. So we're looking at the SPY on a 1-year daily chart. Here's their 52-week low of $629.28 and their 52-week high of $776.85. Let's go down to let's go up to a higher time frame. And now we are looking at a 10-year. Wait a minute. We're looking at a 10-year weekly chart, and we can confirm that. We see 2016 right here. Here's their, you can't see it. This is where I am, right down here. Here's their 10-year low of $208.38 and their 10-year high of $776.85, which we've already confirmed is our 52-week high as well. Before we go back down to the lower time frame, let's talk about our 9-week simple moving average and our 200-week. So our 9-week simple moving average is at $749.84. Our 200-week simple moving average is at $551.94. Got it. Now we can go back down to the lower time frame, and now we're looking at the 1-year daily chart again. Let's zoom in and look at the price action, the volume, the quote, and all that other good stuff for the SPY. So let me start adjusting this chart, and we can talk about it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, now, for the last 3 days, not just 3, I would say 4. For the last 4 trading sessions. So this was Thursday of last week, this one right here. This is where we put this price level of $767.46, and we declared that support. We was like, okay, we're going to use that as support because when it was making this new 52-week high, we didn't have enough candles to try to figure out what it was going to do. So we used the low of that third candle. And since then, it's been trading within that range, guys, for the last 4 trading sessions, including the candle we used to get that support level, okay? So right now it seems to be trading sideways, trending, seems to be trending sideways. Now, as it's trending sideways within this area of support and resistance, so the resistance is at $776.85. The simple moving average, the 9-day simple moving average is approaching that area. So why is that significant? If it keeps trending sideways and this 9-day simple moving average, which is trading at $763.66, gets up there and gets a close below it, it might cause some concern to the downside. It might, because that will be another indication that it's weak. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at right there. The longer it trades within this range, the more time this 9-day simple moving average has to creep up and start getting involved in decisions. Like, did it close above it? Did it close below it? Because what I'm basically saying, if it closes below it right now, it would have to break this support first. But once this line gets inside of this support and resistance area that is trading in between, they could be used as another confirmation that the stock is weak and it could go to the downside. And I would not be surprised if it comes back down here and fills this gap, because it had been trading sideways for a while and it has yet to come back down and test that gap at $760.52, which is the top of the gap, and the bottom of that gap is at $758.58. So I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. So then we have a 200-day simple moving average at $703.99. Okay, guys, we can start getting the stock quote for the SPY, and we can talk about the volume. So let's cut on our floating data box and let's talk about it. So the SPY opened today at $774.53. They had a high of $774.61. They had a low of $769.20, and they closed today at $770.56, which was a trading range of $5.41. Guys, the trading volume, they traded 36.7 million shares of this stock today. Is that a big deal? Is that a little deal? We about to find out. I know what type of deal it is, but we about to find out. So let's cut off the floating data box and let's take me off the screen. Guys, the average trading volume for the SPY is 70.9 million in a daily trading session. And today they only did 36.7 million. I'm about to put me on the screen momentarily because I want to talk about this. Guys, the SPY, I don't know what's going on. And I'm explaining what I mean. The average trading volume. Now, my average trading volume label that we're using is calculating 252 days trading sessions. Okay. So it's an extended period of time. I don't know what was going on for me to use that length of time to really balance stuff out. The average trading volume for the SPY used to be 72 million, but recently it's been trading so low so often that it's bringing the average down. And I'm not using a small time frame. That's why I'm telling you how many bars I'm using. Yesterday we were at 71 million. We were above 71 million for the average trading volume. And now bringing in another 30 million day brings the average down even further. So we can see on Monday, it was below average as well. Did 39 on Monday. And now today, this candle right here, of course, it comes in at 36.7, which is even lower than Monday. So the volume is decreasing. I hate when this chart does that. Okay, so the volume is decreasing and it's bringing the overall average daily volume down. Like, it's rare we're getting 70 million or more on the SPY in a daily trading session. Okay. And when we're looking at these patterns, it's just crazy. There's a few things going on. Here's a dark cloud cover. So this is bearish. Let me put me back on the screen. Let's go into the candlestick pattern bag right quick, because we haven't talked about that. I see what that is. The mouse wheel is sensitive. So let me use a different Let me use a different mouse right quick. So these two candles right here, this candle and this candle, these two candles together are a dark cloud cover. That's a bearish signal after an uptrend. Then when it starts to trade sideways or trend sideways, when that happens, the way you're looking at those candlestick patterns start to change, because now it's a reversal pattern. Doesn't mean go from up to down. It means that the trend has potential to change. So since it's three types of trends, after it goes from an uptrend and you see a reversal pattern, it could start to trend sideways or down. And we can see that after that dark cloud cover, it started to trend sideways. So it did change. Now, if it was still going up, these three candles right here would be an evening star pattern, which is also bearish. But and you have a bearish engulfing pattern, because the body of this candle absorbs this candle, that candle's body. Then you had a harami. So it's a lot of different patterns that's showing up right now. But because this isn't necessarily a straight uptrend right now, because it started to trend sideways, we would proceed with caution. Okay, that's what we're seeing right now. Proceed with caution. That's what we're looking at. All right, so we talked about that. We did the volume, but we didn't wrap the volume up. So let's go ahead and wrap up the volume. So we'll talk about the volume percentile. And this is what I mean by how low this volume is, guys. When we look at the volume percentile, so out of the most recent 252 trading days, today's volume was only higher than 2.4% of those 252 trading days. So to be exact, only 6 of those 252 trading days had lower volume than today. So DB is days below, just in case you didn't. DB and DA, days above, days below. So that's what we're looking at there. All right. So we covered the SPY. We talked about the volume and things like that. We even talked about some patterns, which was cool. We got that done. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's go here. Bam, bam. Excuse me. Oh, gosh. All right. So sector performance tracker. Time to follow the money. Let's follow the money. Let's look at how each sector inside the S&P 500 index performed today. All right. Yeah, we're going to do that. I say it and I'm reading it, but I'm saying something different. I'm going to read this one more time because it sounds crazy the way I said it. Let me say it one more time. Time to follow the money. Let's look at each sector inside the S&P 500 index to see how they performed today. See how that sounds better? Let's do it that way. All right, now let's go back to the charts. Here we go. Put the ticker up for that. Take some of these arrows off the screen. All right, so let's change our grid to sector performance tracker. And guys, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I greatly would appreciate it. It helps the community. It helps everything we have going on here. It means the world to me as well. All right, so we have the sector performance tracker pulled up. And now we can talk about how the SPY and the 11 sectors inside the SPY performed today. And I already have our notes filled out. So let's go ahead and go through it. So the SPY is down 0.3%. Energy is up 1.3%. Materials is up 0.1%. Industrials is up 0.6%. Consumer discretionary is down 0.4%. Consumer staples is down 0.3%. Healthcare is down 0.3%. Financials looks flat. But guys, they are down 0.02%. Information technology is down 0.1%. Communication services is down. Wait a minute. I might have gave you the wrong thing about financials because it changes depending on what we moused over. So we'll come back to that. It looks flat because it's rounded off. Let's go to information technology and we'll revisit financials. Okay. So information technology is down 0.1%. Communication services is down 0.5%. Utilities is up 1.2% and real estate is down 0.7%. Okay, if we go over here, guys, we can get the 2 decimal places and then we can look at the financials. So that's XLF. Yeah, I was right, but it was a mistake that I was right. It just happened to be the same on both of those days. But financials is down 0.02%. We can check that right here to confirm it. Now, let's pull up our notes and talk about the top 3 gainers and the top 3 losers for today. And now we have 2 days, so we can start to look through this and see how these sectors are performing this week. So right here, we're looking at today. So our number 1 gainer is energy, up 1.3%. Number 2 gainer is utilities, up 1.2%. And our third gainer is up 0.6%, and that is industrials. So we have energy, utilities, and industrials. Now, our top 3 losers, guys, our number 1 loser for today is real estate. They're down 0.7%. Communication services are our number 2 loser. They're down 0.5%. And our third biggest loser today is consumer discretionary, down 0.4%. And also you can look over here to get that information in the tickers for the State Street ETFs, okay? And it's in descending order. All right, so let's start looking at these individual sectors about how they perform today using our notes. So let's go ahead and click both, and then we're going to go ahead and go to the first sector we're going to look at. So let's look at communication services. So communication services was our number 2 loser today. So they showed up once this week. Consumer discretionary were our number 3 loser today. Our third biggest loser today, consumer staples, has not showed up yet. Energy has been our number 1 gainer both days this week, Monday and Tuesday. Okay. Financials, quiet this week. Healthcare, our number 2 gainer on Monday. Industrials, our number 3 gainer today. Information technology, number 3 loser, our third biggest loser on Monday. Materials, our number 3 gainer on Monday. Real estate, they've been our number 1 loser on Monday and our number 1 loser today. Okay. Then we have utilities. Utilities, they were our number 2 loser on Monday and our number 2 gainer today. And is that the last one? Yes. So we went through all of them, guys. So that's what we have with our sector performance tracker and doing that and doing that. So we have our notes and we can go ahead and move on. Let's go here and see what we got, guys. Let's see what we got. Take that down, go here. Yeah. All right. Biggest gainers and losers, guys. We doing good. Now let's look at the S&P 500 biggest gainer and loser of the day. But first, we're going to look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. So let's go ahead and go back to the charts. Done. All right, let's change our grid to pro market close. Got it. Collapse that. Cool. Now let's go to the market watch tab. And we go to the quotes sub tab. Have the S&P 500 pulled up. Put this in ascending order. All right, guys. So this is what we have. Our biggest loser for today. I'm going to tell you what it's not, and I'm going to tell you why it's not. So let's start there. So Monster Beverage is showing up that they lost 50% today. 50.2% today. Guys, that's not true. So this is a little learning lesson right now about this. So I'm going to go ahead and select Monster, and then we're going to go to the charts, and I'm going to show you what happened. If you look down here at the bottom of the chart right here, you can see a stock split symbol. So they split the stock 2 for 1. So for every share somebody had, they split it into 2 shares. So if you want to get the accurate information about the percentage change, what I normally do, I just go ahead and go to Yahoo Finance. So let me put me on the screen. I'm going to pull up Yahoo Finance, and then I'll show you what I mean. Because for some reason, the Thinkorswim platform, when they do stock splits, it ends up being delayed, guys. I don't know why. I don't work for the company. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't know why that happens, but that's what's going on. So we go to Yahoo Finance, blow this up, bring this over so you can see it, take this down. So now that I'm on Yahoo Finance, right in here, we're going to put in, what ticker was that? Monster. MONSTR. Yeah, MNST is their ticker symbol. So now when we go there, we can actually get the accurate information, guys. So they only went down 0.4%, not 50.2%. So this is where it's accurate. And they mention it right here, stock split It's moving too fast. That's that sensitive scroll. Give me a minute. Stock split. Monster announces 2-for-1 split effective August 11, 2026. So that confirms that as well. So that's how we do that. Now let's go back to the Thinkorswim platform. Let's go to the Market Watch tab, and now we can actually talk about the official biggest loser for today. So guys, the biggest loser for today is AppLovin Corporation, ticker APP. Guys, they lost 5.99% today. Their previous close was $339. They closed today at $318.68. So let's pull up a calculator and do a hypothetical. Pull this over. Bam, bam, bam. Let's use $9,500 today. Somebody got some money. They invested $9,500 and they lost 5.99%. We negate that, hit the percentage change, and guys, they lost $569.05. Somebody didn't just tuned in and hit me with the chat. Let me pull it up in 1 second. Give me 1 second. Thank you for that chat. I'm about to read it and show it on the screen. So yeah, guys, they would have lost $569.05. Let's add the $9,500 back to it, and it'll show what they be left with. They be left with $8,930.95. So let's pull up this chat. We got a chat. We got a chat, and I appreciate you for it. So let me take this down. Hit the chat. Hey, thank you for tuning in, World Free Speech. Thank you for the chat. Appreciate you. Archer Aviation will be flying people to and from the Olympic Stadium, taxi drones, and 5 countries are waiting for their deliveries. Thank you so much for sharing that with the community. That is very interesting. It could potentially be an opportunity that somebody can look into. I appreciate you for that comment, and thank you for tuning in to the channel. You're welcome to join the community and all the other good stuff, and I appreciate you. Please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you, World Free Speech. All right, so let's go back to the show with this part, the biggest loser. All right, so what we're going to do now, guys, we are going to go to, come on, take this off, take these off. There we go. All right, so now we already have AppLovin selected. So what we're about to do, we're about to go to the Analyze tab. And when we go here, we can see that AppLovin is in the communication services sector. So we're going to see how that sector performed, that AppLovin is inside of the industry and the sub-industry, okay? So what we're going to do, let's go to the Market Watch tab, and then we're going to go to the Visualize sub tab, and we're looking for AppLovin. So we just saw that they were in the communication services sector. So let's go there. Bam. So now that we're in communication services, we're looking for app. They're down here, guys. So let me take me off the screen. I'm going to take the sponsorship down momentarily. Let me double check to make sure of something. Okay, cool. So we're in the communication services sector. AppLovin is down here in the media industry, guys. They're in the media industry and they're in the advertising sub industry. So we have 2 companies out of 3 that performed well today in that sub industry. So we got the Trade Desk and we have Omnicom Group. AppLovin, which has a larger market cap than those other 2 companies, they are our biggest loser today. So let's back this out, go to media. It looks mixed, guys. It looks mixed. So we have 4 companies that's red. It's close. So you got 6 green, 4 red inside of that industry. Now, when we go back out to the sector, I'm definitely seeing more green than red. But Google takes up a lot of market cap space anyway, so it makes it look like everything doing bad when Google do bad. So let's go ahead and go back to the Analyze tab. And let's talk about the company profile of AppLovin before we visit their website. So here's the official name of the company, AppLovin Corporation. Here's a link to their website. It's also down in the description for your convenience. AppLovin Corporation provides end-to-end artificial intelligence powered advertising solutions for business in the United States and internationally. Perfect. We got it. And we have some information about the company we're going to review after we visit their website. So let's go ahead and go there. Bam. So we're on their website. We have that pulled up. We're good. All right, so we're about to browse through this. I'm looking at the top to see if there's anything up here. I believe everything we need is going to be at the bottom of the screen, guys. So let's just browse over what they have going on really quickly so we can get to the charts. Grow your business. Over 1 billion people play mobile games every day. AppLovin lets you advertise to them. Let's get you in front of 1 billion. Yes, that's B. billion customers. We built AppLovin for businesses like yours. Jewelry, furniture, fitness subscriptions, word games, whatever it is, will help you scale it. The whole screen every time. Every ad runs full screen during natural pauses in the game experience or are chosen in exchange for rewards, transforming businesses for over a decade. Okay, guys, that's a lot of different advertising they got going on. But yeah, they're an advertising company. We looked at that media. We looked at the industry, sub-industry, and we learned that when we did that research. And we can see where we need to go right over here, guys. So we have about, careers, and investors. So let's go ahead and go to about. We grow businesses profitably. AppLovin empowers people to build businesses bigger than they ever imagined. Great products win. Performance, not pitches. Built for any size business. The math has to work. Now, guys, keep in mind, we have links to these websites we're featuring down in the description just in case I'm moving too fast or you want to go into this yourself and do a little bit more research on your own. All right. We don't sell the belief that something worked. We sell the actual fact that something worked, and we can measure everything. AppLovin was founded in 2012 by a handful of performance marketers with an $8 domain. Okay, I'm not going to read all that, but what we've accomplished. So here's the timeline of their accomplishments. Want to join the team. So they talk about open roles. That's going to have to do with careers. Take me off the screen. So they have a blog, investors, and leadership. So let's go to careers. We're moving pretty good tonight, guys. Grow without limits. So what we're looking for here, guys, we're looking for the benefits. How well do they take care of the employees? Our culture, we value people who care deeply about what they put into the world. Product first, always pursue excellence, challenge the status quo, speed wins, never stop hustling, lead by doing. Benefits, guys, we found it. I love how they have this website set up. It makes it easy to find. I'm gonna read this part and you can read that on your own. The people behind the work matter here. Our comprehensive benefits support your health, well-being, and future so you can focus on doing your best work. Awesome. And like I said, here are the things you can read about the company. Also links down in the description. Hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel as well. Engineering internship. Get in there, do the things, learn from the masters. All open positions. So those are the opportunities. Here are some different departments in different locations. Business development. Okay, there's a lot of different stuff we can read through. All right, let's go to the investors relations. And that takes us to a different website. Let's make sure we're zoomed in, guys. And we're about to get ready to go to the charts. We're almost there. So here's the stock information. Where we need to go is at the top. I'm going to browse over this page and then we'll go to it. So quarterly reports, latest news, events, and presentations. All right, cool. We're good. Stock information. Guys, here's the stock quote. Here's the stock chart and other tools available for investors on their website. Now, let's talk about what I found in my research about the company. So we'll go here. Bam, bam, we're good. All right, AppLovin Corporation, ticker APP. When it comes to their goods and services, guys, they manage mobile advertising and monetization platforms across the software, digital gaming, and e-commerce markets, offering solutions such as, number one, complete ad mediation options, including Max and app discovery for mobile app developers. Number two, scalable user acquisition products, including Axon, Spark Labs, and Array for mobile marketers. Number three, and optimized analytics systems tailored for ad bidding, performance tracking, and monetization. Looking at their S&P 500 clients and partners, notable names include Meta Platforms Incorporated, ticker META, Electronic Arts Incorporated, ticker EA, and Take-Two Interactive Software Incorporated, ticker TTWO. Now let's look at AppLovin on the charts. Bam, bam, guys, we're good. All right, charts. Okay, here we go, guys. We got AppLovin pulled up on the charts. We are not unfamiliar with AppLovin because they show up often as a biggest gainer or biggest loser. So here's their ticker symbol. And we are looking at AppLovin on a 1 year daily chart. Here's their 52-week high of $745.61. Here's their 52-week low of $318.12. And they closed today at $318.68. Let's go to a higher time frame. So now what we're doing, we're looking at a 10-year weekly chart for AppLovin. Now, let me take me off the screen and break this down. Guys, this does not go back a full 10 years. It's going back to 2021. So we have 26 right here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got about 6 years worth of data. If we count this year, yeah, okay, let's just say 6. So we got 6 years worth of data here, and already took me off the screen. So they have a 6-year low of $9.14. 6-year high of $645.61. And what's interesting about this, guys, let me give you the simple moving averages and then I'll get into my speech. I can put me on the screen too. So the 9-week simple moving average is at $428.75. The 200-week simple moving average is at $231. All right. Now what's jumping out at me, guys, that's very interesting, at least to me, is that we have had this on the chart already. That support at $320. And we can see that today it closed just below that area of support today. And we've been put these on the charts, and it looks like it's been responding to those levels that we had. So let's go back to our higher time, our lower time frame. I'm peeking at something right quick. Being as so it's starting to come down, I'm looking to see if it's something else I could find in this price action to see if it could be a place it could potentially find support. Because when we did this, we didn't look at all of these different levels down here because the price action was a lot higher. So we didn't need all of that. So I'm looking over here. If I'm looking at this, take me off the screen. The wick on this candle right here, when I use these crosshairs, I'm looking at the fact that that crosses a few wicks. You have a wick on this week, a wick on this week, a wick on that week, wick, an open on that week, and a wick and a wick. So I'm seeing that it's responding to this price level a few times. Okay. And that's a huge weekly candle right here compared to the other sizes you see on the chart. It's not often that it's that size. So I would look for it to find support at 263.26 based off historical data because of these price levels here. Okay, now we can go back to the lower time frame. So now we're back on the 1 year daily chart. So we added that extra level of support. Oh, guys. Okay, so this is something else that's standing out to me. This is another one of those companies where it seems to gap often. It looks like it's gapping like every 2 weeks or so. It has some type of gap. Because we can look here, and recently it's gapped a few times. Let me adjust this so it'll be easier to see. So here's what I mean by recently. We already mapped out or marked up a gap here. So that was July 10th. So between July 10th and July 13th, we had a gap down. Then when we come over here, we have a gap down between August 5th and August 6th. Now with that gap down right there, guys, now it was kind of trending. It's downtrending and it looks like it's kind of trending sideways. Then it found support and resistance in that gap. It tried to come up, but it couldn't get past that gap down. And then that pattern right there is a bearish engulfing pattern. And then it gapped down, but then it had earnings. So these earnings were most likely announced after market. So we're about to read that right now. And it was. So it was announced after market. So the following day, it gapped down. So let's highlight that gap from that low to that high. Then, you know, on this channel, we make our gaps yellow. I'll pull this over just in case I'm blocking it. And we're going to extend it out based on this month to January 1st of 2027. That should be enough time to give it whatever time it needs for that gap to fill. My nose itches, guys. Please forgive me. All right. So the bottom, I'm going to put a price level for the bottom of the gap. And it's already a level that's real close to it. So I'm not going to add that to it. I am going to change the color of this gap because it's been filled. And I'm going to make that a lighter color. Okay, so here is that gap from August 5th to August 6th. So we have that, and then we have another recent gap down. So this is what I'm talking about right here, guys. So we have a gap from Monday to today. So that's August 10th. So we connect that low to today's high. And again, yellow, January 1st, 2027. There we go. Bam. We already put the yellow there. Yeah. Now, I'm going to bring the data up. I'm not going to put those price levels there because we'll have price levels galore if I just keep doing price level or after price level. I just want to highlight the fact that these are recent gap downs, okay? And they could potentially be resistance. So you can see what those price levels are. The bottom of that gap is at $229.94. The top of that gap is at $338.71. So that's what we have there. The new 52-week low, guys, was hit today at $318.12. Yeah. So if this don't hold, we use the historical price level of $263.26. That's what I got for you. Now let's break down or go over the simple moving averages. So the 9-day simple moving averages is $375.95. And the 200-day simple moving average is $512.80. And they just announced earnings on, come on. Let me change this to this. They announced earnings on August 5th, and it was announced after the market closed. So guys, they're having a tough time right now. They're having a tough time. Still going down. Oh my. Okay, so we went over that. Let's go ahead and get the stock quote for AppLovin, and we can go ahead and move on, guys. We can go ahead and move on. So let's go ahead and go to settings, cut on our floating data box, and here we go. So AppLovin, they opened today at $329.60. They had a high of $329.94. Guys, that is a bearish belt hold. And what I mean by that, the open and the high on that red candle are almost the same. It's like a 28 cents difference, if I did that right, or around 30 cents difference. And then it sold off. Okay? As extremely bearish based off the fact that it didn't really go up much at all. A few cents. So we see that. So we talked about the high. Now let's talk about the low. So they had a low of $318.12. They closed today at $318.68. It was just, it open, it went a little bit, it went down, it went up a little bit. Like it's bearish, like it's close to the lows. The opens and the close are real close to the highs and the lows of the candle. That's what I'm looking at. All right. So the trading range was $11.82. And the volume for today, they traded 80 million shares of AppLovin today. Is that a big deal? Is that a little deal? We about to find out. So let's take some of these drawings off the screen. Let's take off our floating data box. Take me off the screen and let's talk about the average trading volume for AppLovin. So in a daily trading session, guys, they usually trade 5.8 million shares in a daily trading session. And today they did 8 million. So we definitely see that it's trading above average. And then on Monday, it even traded above average with this red candle right here. And that's a lot of yellow. That might be hard to see. So, but that's right here, guys. I hope you can see that right here. So we do see the volume increasing. Both of those are above average, and it's increasing as the stock is coming down, guys. So we see that. Now we put me back on the screen and let's talk about the volume percentile. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, guys, today's volume was higher than 86.9% of those trading days. To be exact, only 33 of those trading days had higher volume than today. Okay. So that's what we have for AppLovin. So now we can move on. Let's go up here to the Market Watch tab. Let's back this back out so we can be ready for that. We can go to the quotes sub tab. Let's put this in descending order. And now we got a new company today, guys. We haven't looked at this company before. So the biggest gainer for today is KKR Co. Incorporated. I haven't seen something that said and company and incorporated. I ain't seen this, but this is new. But so anyway, that's the company that's the biggest gainer for today. KKR Company Incorporated. All right. So They had a gain of 6.88%. Their previous close was $103.83, and they closed today at $110.97. Let's pull up the calculator and do a hypothetical. We're using $9,500 today. So if somebody invested $9,500 and they got that 6.88% return, we're going to hit this percentage change to turn it to a decimal. They would have gained $653.60. We add the $9,500 back to it. Total investment would have grown to $10,153.60. Bada boom, bada bing. We good. All right, now let's select that company, go over to the Analyze tab, and we can see that KKR is in the financial sector, okay? So we can see, we're going to check to see how that sector performed, the industry performed, and the sub-industry performed that KKR is inside of, all right? So let's go ahead and go to the Market Watch tab, then we go to the Visualize sub tab, and we're looking for financials. Take me off the screen. Financials is right here, guys. So let's go inside the financials, and we're looking for KKR, guys. It's right here. So it is in the capital markets industry, and KKR is in the asset management and custody banks sub industry. And guys, it looks like this sub industry did pretty well. We have 4 reds and we have 7 greens. So that's what we have there. Go back out to capital markets. I'm definitely seeing more red than green when we look at the actual industry. And then when we go to financials as a whole, I'm seeing more red than green, guys. That's what I'm seeing. And if we pull up our notes, or we can just look over here. So we can look at the financials. So as a whole, that sector in the S&P 500 was down 0.02%. That's another way for us to look at it really quickly. Okay, so we looked at that. Now we can go back to the Analyze tab and talk about KKR under the company profile before we visit their website. So the official name of the company is KKR Company Incorporated. Here's a link to their website. It's also down in the description for your convenience. Let's read a little bit about the company and visit the website. KKR Company Incorporated is a private equity and real estate investment firm specializing in direct and fund of fund investments. Okay, put me back on the screen. Take that down. Let's go to their website. Guys, we're good. All right, it's something that blew my mind when I was looking at this. They did something weird with the cursor. You see that dot? But anyway, I noticed that. So I have not went over this website before. This is our first time looking at it. It doesn't look like, okay. So we clicked on the right thing. So right here at the top, these little lines in the upper right-hand corner, we have about, we have invest, and then we have careers. You can't see it because I'm in the way. There it is. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the home page. We're going to browse over it, and those selections might be at the bottom of the page. But if it's not, we'll come back to the top. So KKR, 50 years of innovation. So they have their story here. That's a video. You can watch that on your own. Links to the website are down in the description. So KKR Arctos. KKR has acquired Arctos, a premier institutional investor in professional sports franchise stakes globally and a leader in asset management solutions. KKR is a leading global investment firm. We aim to deliver strong returns and shared success to those we serve and the world at large, investing in people, companies, and communities. So they have some stats about the company here. Who we serve: institutional investors, global wealth, family capital, and companies. Just in case you couldn't see it, latest news and insights, and explore our shared success stories, about more about KKR, Media Center, Investor Relations, and Careers. And like I said, here are some more links down here at the bottom. So under About, we have About, they have Invest. Do I see anything about Careers? And then you have Careers. So the headings will take you to different places. Let's go ahead and click on this in the hyperlink About, and let's go over it. The power of together: a global investment firm investing across private markets in every asset class all over the world. Our mission is to fortify companies and communities and help secure the futures of the institutions and individuals counting on us. A culture defined by collective strength, 50 years of collaboration, teamwork, and partnership. who we serve. We talked about that already. Here's some more stats about the company. Their values, we starting to find some stuff. So our values: pursue excellence, earn, like, and trust every day. Stay curious, be creative, work together. Remember, people are counting on us. People here like to be helpful, share experiences, and use their networks to solve problems. It's a team sport. Our operating model: 3 engines of growth: asset management, insurance, and strategic holdings. Okay, and we're at the bottom of this, so we're done with that. Did we see anything about careers? Yes, we did. So let's go to careers. Working at KKR. Through our investments, we aim to deliver shared success to those we serve and the world at large. We offer engaging work with purpose. Explore opportunities, student careers driven by excellence. Browse through this: a sense of community beyond the work. So inclusive culture, citizenship, health, and wellness. Now, guys, that's where the benefits might be. So we're going to come back. I believe we can click on that. I don't want to click on it and leave, but we'll come back and check that. Okay, spotlight on our offices: Boston, Dublin, Gurugram. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Recognition and awards. KKR celebrates 15 years of partnership with SEO with launch of alternative futures. Okay, let's click on what the health and wellness. Yeah, guys. Okay, so invest in our employees and their families. This should be about the benefits. It doesn't look like they give much information about the benefits, guys. I don't want to spend too much time on this website. So we looked at that. So let's go ahead and go to investor relations. And this is going to take us to a different website, it looks like. Let's make sure we zoomed in all the way. There's 150. Stock information. I'm looking at the top: financial information. All right, I don't see it at the top. So let's browse around their website and see if we can see a stock quote or chart or anything like that. Guys, I don't see it. And you know what's interesting about this? You know what's crazy? These companies that are in the financial industry, industry that does the investing for you, for some strange reason, some of them don't have the stock information on there. You would think they would have it out of all industries and sectors. If you in finance, why won't you have the stock chart and the stock quote on your website? It's like, if you're gonna have them invest in stuff for you, they don't show you that stuff. Like, they don't expect you to be able to understand it or read it. I don't know, but I've noticed that. So anyway, let's move on. I don't see it. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's go here. Bam. And let's talk about the other information that I have about the company. So KKR and Company Incorporated, ticker KKR. When it comes to their goods and services, they manage alternative asset investment platforms across the private equity, credit, and real estate markets, offering solutions such as: number 1, complete private equity options, including buyout investments and growth capital for middle market companies. Number 2, scalable credit and insurance products, including direct lending, asset-based finance, and global Atlantic annuities for institutional investors. And number 3, optimized infrastructure systems tailored for renewable energy, digital connectivity, and transportation projects. Looking at their S&P 500 clients and partners, notable names include the Coca-Cola Company, ticker KO, S&P Global Incorporated, ticker SPGI, and Broadcom Incorporated, ticker AVGO. Now, let's look at KKR on the charts. So here we go. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, we're good, guys. So here we go. Let's go over to the charts. All right, now, just to point something out to you, because this immediately jumped out at me when we looked at this chart. Actually, I'll come right back to it. I won't forget. All right, so we have KKR pulled up on the charts. We're looking at a 1-year daily chart. They have a 52-week high of $152.10. They have a 52-week low of $82.67. Okay, and it does look like they pay a dividend, and they just paid it on August 10th. So that was yesterday. And we can go ahead and look at the higher time frame. So let's go ahead and go to the 10-year weekly chart, take me off the screen, point out what we're looking at. So we're looking at KKR on the 10-year weekly chart, confirmed 2016 is right here. Here's their 10-year low of $13.58. Here's their 10-year high of $170.40. Here's their 9-week simple moving average of $99.27, and their 200-week simple moving average of $98.59. Guys, those are almost at the same spot. Those are almost at the same spot. All right, now on the historical time frame, and we've never looked at this company before, okay? So the first thing that's standing out to me is a support zone. So let me put me on the screen and let me zoom in and tell you what I'm looking at. So we've never looked at this company before, and I'm seeing some things that we can definitely work on and look at. So I'm looking at the high of this candle right here and the low. I'll see it when I grab it because I lost my place now that I moved the chart. But the high of that candle and the low, there it is, and the low of that candle. Now I'm extending this over to 2027, January 1st. So I told you that's what we're using for this month. Okay, that's my support zone on the longer time frame. So we're using that based off the higher time frame. And what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to extend this, make it a little bit bigger, and we're going to get some support levels because I want to identify what was the low of that zone and the high of that zone. So those are our price levels. So the bottom of that zone is at $83.90. The top of that zone, support zone, is at $86.15. Now it's a support zone, of course, because of the price action being up here. Okay. So that's what we have there on the higher time frame. And now I'm looking for potential resistance. So I'm seeing this as we can just use a line there. We don't have to use a zone. I'm seeing that as $102.76 as right now would be support because the price is above that. And now I'm looking for the next area of potential resistance. It stopped right here. And it looked like it could have been based off of these lows on these wicks. So I'm going to use those. So that resistance would be at $112 on the higher time frame. And I'm looking for something else. So we have a gap in here between this week, maybe the top of that gap and the low of that gap. I'm going to actually just use that gap. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to identify that gap. So from that low to that high, then I'm extend this over to that same date we talked about before, guys. So 2027, January 1st. And I know this is taking a little bit longer than the other ones, guys, because we've never covered this company before. Like everything else we've looked at, we've already covered them. So we've had most of the technicals done already. So when we're actually looking at the stock and looking at different opportunities and looking for support, resistance, gaps, and all of that, it takes a little time. And then you're looking at different time frames as well. What color is this? That looks like a different color from this one. It looks a little darker. Okay, so it's the darker one. It is the darker one. So we use that one right here. That's what I'm looking for. All right. Looked a little lighter, I think, because I don't have the actual price level lines on there. So if we zoom in, we can get the price level lines. So that's the bottom of that resistance zone. That's the top of the resistance zone. And if we extend that over to the left, you can actually see how it responded to it over here as well. That's why I picked that area. All right. So now what we can do, we have enough on a higher time frame. Now we can go back over to the lower time frame. So now we're back on the 1 year daily chart. Now, this is what I wanted to say, and I said I won't forget, I'll come back to it. I immediately noticed when we looked at this chart compared to the other one we looked at, this has way fewer gaps. If you look at it, you can eyeball the fact that this stock does not have as many gaps as the other ones. The other one looked like it had a gap like every 2 weeks. Now the gaps on this one are very small, like they're very tight. It does have gaps, but they're very tight. So I'm gonna show you which ones I had caught real quick with my eye. So this one is pretty wide. There's a gap there. Here's a tight one right here. I had seen, here's another one right here. So after you look at these charts for a while, it'll stand out to you. Like you can see them really quick. Here's a really tight one between these two. So when we looked at the other company, the gaps were wider, and they seem to be more frequent. You have another small gap right here. So it's very small. You almost don't see it if you're not paying attention. So this gaps frequently, more recently, but when I look back, I'm not seeing as many gaps, or they're very, very small. So we could look at those as potential support and resistance that it will run into. But it seems like this stock moves and behaves a little different from the other one we were looking at. In other words, it's not as choppy. That's another way to look at it. It's not as choppy. So it found clean support down here, and it was able to get that trend and just ride that trend. It's not jumping up and down all over the place like the other stuff we had looked at, okay? So as far as support, right now, it looks like it's on an uptrend. Short term, found support down here. It's making higher lows. It found support here. It tested it twice, and it's trending up, guys. And it closed convincingly above that 200-day simple moving average. So I'm not really seeing a need. I would look at that right there. You see how this wick came down and tested this area here? I would put an area of support right here, a level of support there. And then you can see it acted as resistance here, here, here. So I'm liking that 95.66. So that's what we have as far as support and resistance. I believe that is enough. So we're going to talk about the 9-day simple moving average. That's at $104.87. Our 200-day simple moving average is at $106.64. These are also close to one another, just like it was close on the higher time frame. Okay. So we got that. Now let's go ahead and get our stock quote for KKR. Blow this up a little bit, move this over, go ahead and cut on our floating data box, and we can get ready to get this stock quote. So here we go, guys. So KKR opened today at $104.01. They had a high of $111.34. They had a low of $103.66, and they closed today at $110.97, which was a trading range of $7.68. All right, now the volume, guys, they traded 8.3 million shares of this stock today. Is that a big deal? Is that a little deal? We about to find out. So let's cut off this floating data box. Take me off the screen, guys. The average trading volume for KKR in a daily trading session is 5.2 million shares. So 8.3 is definitely above average on this bullish candle right here. And it opened below the 9-day simple moving average as well, guys. Like if we're really looking at what's going on. So Monday, it opened below this area of resistance at $102.76. Now it opened, I'm mousing over the candle and I'm reading the open for that day. It opened at $101.81 on Monday. Today, it opened just above yesterday's close, peaked a little bit down in that candle, and it was below the 9-day simple moving average. And that volume kicked in and it pushed right above both of those simple moving averages and came close to testing that area of resistance that we got from the higher time frame at $112. Okay, so we got that. Take me back off the screen and let's talk about yesterday's volume. So here's Monday's volume, guys, right here. They traded 6.4 million shares that day, and that also was above average. So we see increasing volume as the stock price is pushing and moving to the upside, okay? So we have that. Now let's talk about the volume percentile. Put me back on the screen. Guys, the volume percentile for KKR for today is 90.1%, which means today's volume is higher than 90.1% of the most recent 252 trading days volumes, okay? To be exact, only 25 of those trading days had higher volume than today. Guys, oh yeah, we did it. Guess what? We done. We done. So we can move on, guys. We can get ready to wrap the show up. So let's go here. I'm feeling good. This was a good show tonight. I feel like we had a really good show. It was a lot smoother than what we dealt with yesterday, for sure. Yesterday was a little tough. I was like, oh no. And today, guys, is our 401 video on the channel. We cracked 100,000 views on the channel. People are subscribing and liking and tuning in. You guys are awesome. The community is growing. Everything you guys do means the world to me. Every chat, every comment, sharing the content, peeking in, dislikes, everything helps. So I appreciate you guys. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. You already know. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. This Sunday, August 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we're reviewing this week's biggest gainers and losers, market sentiment, market volatility, the S&P 500, sector performance, and creating a watch list for upcoming earnings. And make sure you keep tuning in weekdays following a market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, World Free Speech, for your chat tonight. Take care and God bless.